Richard P. Feynman to George W. Beadle, January 16, 1967. Dr. George W. Beadle, the University of Chicago, Office of the President, Chicago, Illinois. Dear George, yours is the first honorary degree that I have been offered, and I thank you for considering me for such an honor. However, I remember the work I did to get a real degree at Princeton, and the guys on the same platform receiving honorary degrees without work, and felt an honorary degree was a debasement of the idea of a degree which confirms certain work has been accomplished. It is like giving an honorary electrician's license. I swore then that if by chance I was ever offered one, I would not accept it. Now, at last, 25 years later, you have given me a chance to carry out my vow. So, thank you. But I do not wish to accept the honorary degree you offered. Sincerely yours, Richard P. Feynman.
Richard P. Feynman to Tina Levitin, January 18th, 1967. Tina Levitin wrote to Feynman requesting a biographical sketch and a black-and-white photograph for inclusion in her book in progress, The Laureates, Jewish Winners of the Nobel Prize.
Miss Tina Levitin, New York, New York. Dear Miss Levitin, it would not be appropriate to include me in Jewish winners of the Nobel Prize for several reasons, one of which is that at the age of 13 I was converted to non-Jewish religious views. Sincerely yours, Richard P. Feynman.
Tina Levitin to Richard P. Feynman, January 30th, 1967. Dear Dr. Feynman, your letter of January 18th, in which you state that it would not be appropriate for me to include you in my book of Jewish winners of the Nobel Prize, has been received. My listing of Jewish Nobel Prize winners includes not only professing Jews and those partly of Jewish ancestry, but also those of Jewish origins, for the simple reason that they usually have inherited their valuable heredity elements and talents from their people. Under these circumstances, may I include you? I will not represent the fact that at the age of 13 you were converted to non-Jewish religious views. If there is another reason why you do not wish to be included, please let me know. Sincerely yours, Tina Levitin. Miss Tina Levitin.
Richard P. Feynman to Tina Levitin, February 7th, 1967. Dear Miss Levitin, in your letter you expressed the theory that people of Jewish origin have inherited their valuable hereditary elements from their people. It is quite certain that many things are inherited, but it is evil and dangerous to maintain, in these days of little knowledge of these matters, that there is a true Jewish race or specific Jewish hereditary character. Many races, as well as cultural influences of men of all kinds, have mixed into any man. To select for approbation the peculiar elements that come from some supposedly Jewish heredity is to open the door to all kinds of nonsense on racial theory. Such theoretical views were used by Hitler. Surely you cannot maintain on the one hand that certain valuable elements can be inherited from the Jewish people and deny that other elements which other people may find annoying or worse are not inherited by these same people. Nor could you then deny that elements that others would consider valuable could be the main virtue of an Aryan inheritance. It is the lesson of the last war not to think of people as having special inherited attributes simply because they are born from particular parents, but to try to teach these valuable elements to all men, because all men can learn, no matter what their race. It is the combination of characteristics of the culture of any father and his father, plus the learning and ideas and influences of people of all races and backgrounds, which make me what I am, good or bad. I appreciate the valuable and the negative elements of my background, but I feel it to be bad taste and an insult to other peoples to call attention in any direct way to that one element in my composition. At almost 13, I dropped out of Sunday school just before confirmation because of differences in religious views, but mainly because I suddenly saw that the picture of Jewish history that we were learning, of a marvelous and talented people surrounded by dull and evil strangers, was far from the truth. The error of anti-Semitism is not that the Jews are not really bad after all, but that evil, stupidity, and grossness is not a monopoly of the Jewish people, but a universal characteristic of mankind in general. Most non-Jewish people in America today have understood that. The error of pro-Semitism is not that the Jewish people or Jewish heritage is not really good, but rather the error is that intelligence, goodwill, and kindness is not, thank God, a monopoly of the Jewish people, but a universal characteristic of mankind in general. Therefore, you see, at 13, I was not only converted to other religious views, but I also stopped believing that the Jewish people are in any way the chosen people. This is my other reason for requesting not to be included in your work. I am expecting that you will respect my wishes. Sincerely yours, Richard P. Feynman.